Welcome to Eerie Tales. Tonight, we journey into the shadowy depths of an urban legend that has gripped the world with fear for over a decade. A figure known for his tall, thin frame, faceless head, and ability to vanish into thin air, Slenderman. But this legend is no mere fantasy. It has blurred the line between myth and reality, causing real-life terror and tragedy. Tonight, we'll explore the dark lore behind Slenderman, real encounters with this horrifying entity, and even a terrifying fictional tale of an encounter that will leave you questioning what's real. So, let's step into the world of the unknown and uncover the truth about Slenderman. What is he? Where did he come from? And why has he haunted the minds of so many? Let's begin. The story of Slenderman begins in the dark corners of the internet. He was born in 2009 on the website Something Awful, a forum known for its user-created content. A user named Eric Knudsen, under the pseudonym Victor Surge, created a chilling image of a tall, faceless figure in a suit standing ominously near children. This was the birth of Slenderman, a being who haunted the edges of the digital world, whose lore quickly grew far beyond the original post. Slenderman's design was simple yet terrifying. A tall, thin figure, dressed in a black suit with a featureless face and elongated limbs that could stretch and contort. His appearance was disturbing, but it was the lore surrounding him that made him even more chilling. Slenderman was said to stalk and abduct children, using his long, tentacle-like appendages to ensnare his victims. He would often be seen lurking in the woods, watching from a distance, his presence felt but not seen. The Slenderman legend quickly expanded beyond the confines of an internet meme. People started crafting their own stories, adding new layers to his myth. Some claimed that he could control the minds of children, driving them to madness. Others said that he existed in the shadows, moving silently through forests and urban areas alike. The most terrifying aspect of Slenderman is his ambiguity. He has no discernible motive, no clear origin, and no end. He is simply there. But Slenderman's legend did not stay confined to the world of online horror. In 2014, the chilling tale of Slenderman became all too real when two 12-year-old girls from Waukesha, Wisconsin, lured a friend into the woods and brutally stabbed her in an attempt to prove their loyalty to Slenderman. The attack, known as the Slenderman stabbing, shocked the world and brought Slenderman into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The two girls believed that if they performed this act of violence, Slenderman would take them to his mansion in the woods, where they would be safe from harm. Thankfully, their victim survived, but the incident raised questions about the influence of internet legends on young minds. The girls, despite being so young, were convinced that Slenderman was real and that they were serving him by committing the horrific act. The Waukesha stabbing wasn't the only real-world incident tied to Slenderman. Several other cases have surfaced over the years, with people claiming to have had terrifying encounters with the tall, faceless figure. Some say he appeared in their dreams, others reported seeing him in the woods or on the edges of their property. His chilling presence has left a trail of fear in its wake. One such encounter was reported by a man named Thomas. He claims to have had a terrifying experience while camping in the woods in upstate New York. He and his friends were setting up camp when Thomas, feeling uneasy, stepped away from the group to take a walk. That's when he saw him, a tall figure with elongated limbs and no face, standing silently behind a tree. Thomas thought it was a trick of the light at first, but the figure didn't move. It just stood there, staring at him. He tried to approach it, but something about the way the figure moved, or rather didn't move, left him paralyzed with fear. He later said it was like the air around him was thick, oppressive. I couldn't breathe right, couldn't look away. And then, he was gone. Thomas left the woods that night, never to return. He later found out that there had been similar reports in the area, where locals had seen a tall, faceless figure in the trees. Slenderman's presence, it seemed, was not just a story. It was something that could haunt you, even in the real world. Another encounter with Slenderman found online, one that might send shivers down your spine. Our tale begins with a young woman named Emma. She had heard the stories, read the creepypasta, and seen the terrifying images of Slenderman, but she never thought that he could truly be real. That was until one fateful night. Emma was driving home from a late-night party, the roads slick with rain and the streets deserted. As she neared the outskirts of town, her headlights flickered. She pulled over, annoyed by the malfunction, and stepped out to inspect the car. That's when she heard it, the sound of footsteps in the wet grass behind her. At first, she thought it was just a deer or a stray animal, but as she turned around, her heart dropped. There, standing at the edge of the road, was a tall, shadowy figure. The figure stood unnaturally still, taller than any human, and its limbs seemed to stretch beyond the normal proportions. No face, just the faint outline of a suit and an aura of darkness. Emma froze, unable to move or speak. The figure didn't seem to approach her, but its presence weighed heavily on her chest, like the very air around her had thickened. Then, as she watched in horror, the figure slowly began to shift, its limbs extending in impossible directions, like twisted branches reaching toward her. Her heart raced as she backed away, her eyes never leaving the figure. She stumbled to the car, fumbling with the door handle. But just as she opened it, she felt a cold breath on her neck. The whispers were now louder, as if dozens of voices were calling to her. She slammed the door shut and sped off, glancing in the rearview mirror to see the figure still standing there, motionless in the rain. Emma never spoke about that night to anyone. She couldn't shake the feeling that Slenderman had followed her, watched her every move. And though she never saw him again, she often found herself looking over her shoulder, hearing faint whispers in the distance. The legend of Slenderman continues to haunt the minds of many, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. His presence, whether seen in the shadows or felt in the eerie silence, leaves behind a sense of unease that's impossible to shake. For some, Slenderman is more than just a story. He is a living nightmare that can reach into the real world. Thank you for joining us tonight on Eerie Tales. For more spine-chilling legends, real-life encounters, and terrifying tales, be sure to subscribe. And remember, the next time you hear a whisper in the dark or see something tall in the corner of your eye, it might just be Slenderman watching you. Stay safe and always keep your lights on.